I decided to go ahead and do a video kind of going over my mind maps here for the photo challenge. I decided to focus in on two of them, the two that I was having the most trouble with beforehand. That's why I decided to create the mind maps. I initially made three for all three of the shutter speed portions of it, but my pictures kind of went in a completely different direction from the stop motion one, and the motion blur and the panning were the ones I definitely had the most issues with anyway. Trying like coming with ideas, and so I decided to focus in on those two. Here for the motion blur, I'll start by explaining that I knew going into this photo challenge that there's going to be three places that I was going to be shooting. Before I left in Arizona, I would have some time there, and then at our family reunion in the woods, and then after the reunion at different family members' houses. So before I left, when I was thinking about motion blur, a couple ideas that I came up with was going out into the desert with driving cars, and trying to get that desert scene with the cars driving by. And then or going to our football field at night, and there's a bunch of rabbits on the football field, or the summer practices of volleyball and football, and trying to get some nice motion blurred photos of the students there practicing. With the nighttime ones, I knew that I'd have to go and do like a higher ISO, like 1600 plus, to try to compensate for lack of sunlight. For both of these scenes, I thought it'd be important to have a smaller f-stop to keep the whole scene in focus, because I wanted like the scenery for the car shot or the football field for the rabbit shot to all be in focus, as well as the thing that I was trying to get the motion blur on. Once I got to the reunion, I had wanted to try to get some blurred water pictures. I'm talking about this after the fact. I did attempt the blurred water shots, but spoiler alert, I forgot to bring my tripod with me on vacation. But I did try that by just balancing it on a rock with that low shutter speed of like around like between a second and half a second, that kind of thing, to get that nice soft blur on the water. Another idea that I had and that I didn't actually end up trying was the fire, but when I was thinking about it, I was kind of thinking, can I do fire as motion blur? Can you get a blur on the fire? I knew I would have to like kind of crank down that ISO to like 200 and maybe start an f-stop of 16 to try to limit the light, since I was trying to get something that was light to be blurred. Next time I'm next to a campfire with my camera, I'm definitely going to give that a try. I talked more about this in the culling video, but I had for this project wanted to focus on not shying away from having my kids be the subject of my pictures, like Sally Mann's work that I was inspired by from the photo game. So I definitely had some ideas of having them be in some of those pictures blurred. For after the reunion at families' houses, I was thinking again of the kids and maybe keep people doing somersaults, cartwheels, of the dogs. For all those shots, I knew that those would be outside shots in the sun. So I would need a small ISO or f-stop to keep the shutter low to be able to get that motion blur. An idea that I was really excited about to try when I was thinking this through was shuffling cards, and I knew that was going to be an indoor shot, so I would need to. I didn't put that on the map, but that was going to be an inside shot compared to the other one, and I'd have to set the camera on the table and then try to get those fingers crisp and the cards blurry, and that was a fun one. But yeah, that's where I was at with motion blur. Those are some of the things I was thinking about. Let me switch over to the panning one. I won't go into as much detail on this because I've already covered parts of it. But back in Arizona, I again thought about the rabbits and the 1600 ISO for nighttime. When I think of panning, I always think of like people riding by on a bike or skateboard or vehicles moving, and I thought, well, what's like a thing that's unique to my school setting? I was like, well, the school bus is pulling away, Again, hindsight, I didn't get to try that one, but because I was only there for 2 days and I missed the bus both days. But at the reunion, I was thinking about having a paper boat going down like the water or waterfall and panning with it. And having another one was having my kids jump off of things or out of trees, and then you could pan with them just like standing up and going down. We definitely tried some of that. I also tried doing from underneath and panning instead of moving the camera, like moving the zoom. I thought it was something I was excited to try. So another one was spinning like in a circle with my kids. I put another hindsight thing on this mind map, but in hindsight, at the reunion, I was using a 50mm lens, and that with her holding onto my arm and spinning around, we were still way too close. So I was only able to get her head. I still got those shots, but I mean, it was not as good as I had wanted it to be. After the reunion, I was thinking about doing some things inside, like a hand moving a game piece, panning with that, or kids sliding down the banisters. I knew we were going to be at my sister-in-law's house where she'd have banisters for kids to slide down. This is where I put about the indoor shots, that they would need the smaller f-stop for those indoor shots, and I started at a 4.0 for that. So I'm going to go ahead and include these mind maps in with the document that has everything, that links to the videos and everything. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a good idea into what I was thinking about with these photos.